James McAvoy. Very scary James McAvoy.
Speak No Evil. Yeah, no, he was definitely the standout. It's a remake of a foreign, I want to say, like Danish film that I saw 6 months ago. Very bleak and disturbing original film. So I was very curious to see how much they toned it down. Just the fact that it was in theaters made me think, and had a fairly well-established cast. Obviously, James McAvoy. And, who else was in it? Scoot McNairy, I think it was, and Mackenzie Davis. So fairly good cast. They totally flipped it on its head. Like if you left the original film thinking it was bleak and it had a terrible downbeat ending and you hated the villain so much, then this is almost like a catharsis for it, where they went in a different direction. So it was interesting, and I would say definitely way more accessible for you and for Dad and general audiences. I wouldn't recommend watching the original unless you wanted to feel terrible about yourself for a few days. So
Yeah.
But both very good films.
Yeah, I love James McAvoy. That one looked like kind of the type of horror that's less up my sleeve, but I might check it out.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot less intense than the trailer might
Oh, it is?
imply.
Okay.
I mean, it's still a fair, like, there's a lot of suspense and stuff, but it's not gory or disturbing in any way. They took out a lot of the most egregiously offensive elements from the original, but yeah, no, I would recommend it. I think it's worth watching. It overall well made, and yeah, McAvoy's performance it's really incredible. Actually, I like almost forgot I was watching him. He disappeared so well into the role. So definitely one of the more standout horror movies. It hasn't been a great year for horror, but especially the next few weeks, month or so, I think we'll be getting some good stuff. So.
Yeah, we can talk about that a little bit after. But it is spooky season officially. As of yesterday was the first day of fall. So that's, if spooky season wasn't official before that, it is now. And we are here to react to the premiere of Agatha All Along, the new Marvel Disney Plus show. This is working as a sequel in what I'm hearing is planned as a trilogy mini of short series. Obviously, we had WandaVision. Now we've got Agatha All Along, and supposedly this, the third chapter in this will ultimately be Vision Quest, where we get the return of Vision. And it's funny, I was just thinking, it feels like it's been forever since the last Marvel Disney Plus show, and I think that's a good thing. Obviously,
for the best.
Yeah, obviously the labor dispute was part of it. Marvel has definitely, deliberately seemed to have pulled back, and I think that's a good thing. There was just so much stuff coming out, and so much of it was
Oh, I guess I'm thinking of Secret Invasion, but I guess Loki was technically the last one, right?
No, it's funny. I have such a unfortunately crappy recollection of Secret Invasion. There was such a disappointment. That in my mind was the last Marvel show too. But actually, yeah, Loki was after that, and Echo also was after that. And
wow.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot about that. That was I enjoyed that. That was good.
Echo I thought was pretty. But anyway, here we are with Agatha All Along. Interesting 2-part premiere, which is always good to give you a nice chunk if they're not going to allow you to binge the whole show. And also, so there's going to be, I think, 6 episodes now, and then 2. There's a total of 9 episodes. They're going to 2-part premiere, and they're going to do a 2-part finale the day before Halloween, and then
gotcha. Okay.
however many episodes fits in between that to make 9 is what we're going to get over the next several weeks.
Fair enough. Yeah, so 5, I guess that would be.
Yeah, 2, 5, and 2. So that should be good. But what was your initial reaction, Cam?
My initial reaction was I like it so far. I think it's good. It's not blowing me away. There isn't anything I really think stands out, but especially compared to Secret Invasion, it's certainly a huge step ahead of that. And there's a lot of small little details that I like. Obviously, we're following up on a lot of kind of dangling threads that we've been wondering about for a little bit. From WandaVision, like you mentioned, and a little bit of even Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. We're getting kind of answers to what happened kind of at the end of that film and following that up. So I thought the very beginning of the first episode, the kind of faux cop show that they did, wasn't quite as good as the sitcoms that they were doing, kind of parodying in WandaVision. It just felt like they were trying a little bit too hard to make it almost like an edgy cop drama, but there wasn't quite enough there. I also felt like it went on for a little bit too long. I was like, okay, I get it. It's the cop drama thing. I did like they had the kind of fake intro, and it said it was based on the Swedish series WandaVision or whatever it was, which I thought was funny. But then once they finally transitioned from that kind of fake out cop show to the actual show, that's when I started really enjoying it. The kind of fight at the beginning between two characters was really cool, and they introduced a couple new characters. So overall, I can't say it's blowing me away so far, but I like it enough that I'm definitely going to keep watching, and there's definitely a lot of little elements here and there that I really enjoy. So pretty good so far.
That's funny. I loved it. I loved the first two episodes. I thought following her, Agatha in Westview, and then just even realizing she was a cop and in this show, and then realizing that it was a show on the whole based on the Danish whatever, and having all the names of the characters be the folks from Westview, and
right, yeah.
We saw a lot of those familiar places, playing different roles. The forensics guy, and then that other neighbor with the mustache is now the sheriff, and that whole thing. I thought it was good, and kind of totally taking off of one of those adapted European crime drama shows, adapted to a U.S. cable show. So I thought they did a nice job with that. It was interesting. Aubrey Plaza's character slowly breaks down the walls for Agnes. I thought called back to the way that Agnes kind of broke down the walls for Wanda towards the end of that show. And then just teasing, is the dead body, of course you immediately think, oh, is that Wanda? And, they mentioned that she, the body was crushed and dropped there and all that stuff. So I enjoyed that. And then moving into the second episode, it definitely, it's funny, Jen, who wasn't able to make it to record with us for this.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, I could watch that show. Agnes of Westview or whatever else, that cop show. She's like, it was good. And then I know your dad said, he felt like it didn't even feel necessarily like a Marvel show, just more of like a witch show. And I think that was actually kind of a welcome element of it, that it doesn't, it's definitely got the WandaVision, vibes and all of the callbacks there, but the feel of the show is not like a typical Marvel show where they're trying to remind you of what's going on all around you with Avengers, and it's kind of a little bit so far existing in a land of its own, other than the references to Wanda. The way that they're moving into this whole Witch Road thing, I think, it'll be interesting to see what that means and where that goes. Obviously, it's got a little bit of like a Wicked and kind of Yellow Brick Road feel to it. What did you think about the cast?
Overall, I think the cast is very good. I do think obviously we've talked about Katherine Hahn and her performance as Agatha. She's great in everything she does. I do think we have kind of a similar casting situation in and I can't remember his name off the top of my head. And I guess he doesn't have a character name yet, just Teen or Teen Boy or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much you know about his character and who he's going to be, but it's a similar situation to, in my opinion, to Iman Vellani's Kamala Khan, in that this actor feels like he was almost destined to play the character that he's eventually going to become.
Oh, okay.
Just based on his personal life characteristics and just look in general. If you I don't want to spoil too much, but if you look up Wiccan Marvel and just see a picture of the character, you'd see, he actually does look a lot like him. So I think he's probably the standout casting for me, just in terms of a character actor match kind of thing. And then the rest of the cast, I can't say stands out in any way, but they're all very good. Obviously, Aubrey Plaza kind of kills it as a gothic witch character in anything she does. So she's very, very good choice for that role. And all the other witches and the I guess maybe Muggle, for lack of a better term to use, the older woman there. I thought,
Deborah Jo Rupp,
all...
from
right, yep,
that
yeah. I
90s
thought
show,
I recognized her from
that
70 show,
90
show,
show. Yeah, she's great.
Funny. But she was very funny. I think she was another one of the standout characters for me. But yeah, no, I think everybody else is more than serviceable for their characters.
Yeah, I thought the castings were good. I thought it was interesting that you've got, I know Joe Locke has been making a name for himself on his Netflix show. Katherine Hahn obviously is the preeminent. She's great. Aubrey Plaza plays. Aubrey Plaza is one of my favorites, but she also. And this is a compliment to her, because some actors, kind of like Ryan Reynolds, Aubrey Plaza plays Aubrey Plaza in everything she's in, just like kind of Ryan Reynolds plays Ryan Reynolds in everything that he's in, but they're brilliant, at it. And so she's fantastic. And I thought it was interesting that other than we get some of the regulars back from WandaVision for their bit parts. I don't know how much they're going to show up, Emma Caulfield of Buffy fame, showing up as Dottie again. And it's interesting that they're bringing along the Deborah Jo Rupp character as sort of this, like, I'm not a witch, I'm just this, like, lady, I'm just a neighbor, but she's going to get dragged along, and she'll be great, I think, comic relief. But it was funny to me that, who knows, maybe it's even a budgetary thing, but, like, you've got Katherine Hahn, Aubrey Plaza, this Joe Locke, who's kind of an up-and-comer. The rest of the coven, if you want to call it, are actors that I'm not familiar with at all. So I think that it was interesting that there weren't any other familiar faces. Maybe it's probably, I'm sure it's a budgetary thing for some. And then, but then you don't probably have all these competing big, huge actor personalities. So, but it'll be interesting to see where it goes. So I just thought it was a great, like I said, I really enjoyed the facade of the cop show in the first one. Oh, and I didn't pick up on it at first. And I was like, oh, because you found yourself remembering a lot of details of WandaVision as you watched it. I'm like, oh yeah, the fake show thing. I didn't strike me right away that they were going to call back to that so blatantly as they did.
Yeah, I think once all the spooky stuff started happening, that's when I really started getting engaged in it. I love all the witch lore and kind of you have Agatha, who's a more kind of traditional, or has a reputation for being a more traditional evil witch and kind of falling into those stereotypes. And then you have the, I guess for lack of a better term, like good witches, who are kind of like, you're giving us a bad name. I thought that was kind of a cool little detail, and just the building the lore of the magical, mystical kind of horror side of Marvel is always a good thing, especially since it's been a couple years since Werewolf by Night, right? Yeah,
I was saying that's definitely on the list. I purposely haven't watched that. That should definitely be an every year Halloween watch, but I purposely haven't watched that again. I definitely want to watch that again. That was so good.
And but yeah, no, I just love that side of the Marvel universe and the visuals of, especially once they actually went into the Witch's Road and the like all the twisted trees and that kind of yellow brick road with the moon in the distance. I loved all that. So I think now that it's really gotten going, I'll probably enjoy it a lot more. But I just kind of felt like it was a little bit shaky start. I wish we didn't spend as much time in the cop show, because it doesn't seem like that's going to be coming back in any significant way. So it kind of felt a little bit like it was kind of just turning the wheels just to have something to do. But now that the show has kind of gotten going, and I'm curious to see exactly where, because I think we're going to get more answers as to what happened at the end of Doctor Strange and the kind of state of the magical world now that the Scarlet Witch has seemingly died.
Yeah, and I don't want to get off on too much of a tangent. But have you seen the alternate script or the original script? Those leaks that have come out about what the original Doctor Strange script was supposed to be like.
Oh no, I haven't. Is that fairly recent?
Yeah, they're all. Yeah, you can find them. I'm sure if you Google that. Very different, and I can say like, and everyone's like, "Oh, that would have been so much better if they did that," but very different original story from what got, and you can see how some of it was sort of pieced together, and just the juxtaposition of where they took Wanda's character in the finished script from where she was going to go from the original script. It definitely a lot different. They weren't going to have her go as hard bad in the original script as she ended up going. So that I thought was interesting. Production, you alluded to some of the visuals. I thought the fight scene between Aubrey and Katherine Hahn was pretty, like whoa, it was really
yeah,
good.
no, everything.
A lot of smashing against it was like a good, superhero type fight scene, which I wasn't expecting. And then, yeah, what did you think of the overall production values, cinematography, etc.?
Yeah, I'd say it's a pretty big. I mean, it's definitely an improvement from. I was not very impressed with. Not that it was terrible, but Secret Invasion, and yeah, obviously some of the CGI and stuff in some of the more recent films and shows hasn't been great, but it seems like they're kind of getting back to the kind of higher quality production values that we saw in the first three phases. Because I think they did a very good job. There's been a few good shots. Again, it doesn't nothing that stands out to me as exceptional, but just all very solid and well done, and nothing that stood out as egregious. So and yeah, I really love a lot of the production design, like the witchy, like I mentioned, the design of the witch road and the costumes. I love Agatha's costume and all the different witch. Aubrey Plaza's costume looks really cool. So yeah, I think I'd probably need to see a little bit more to speak more on the production, but overall it's solid so far, and nothing stands out as egregiously bad or low quality.
Yeah, no, I agree. Obviously, I'm not as tuned into that, but I thought, and again, it is a TV show, and unless it's something that is very visual, really focused on crazy special effects, then it just has to be good enough. It doesn't have to be like spectacular. But yeah, so overall, I think I've got I'm definitely not A plus, but like B plus, A minus, A for this premiere, and you seem like you're more of a little in B territory.
Yeah, maybe closer to B, but I think I'd need to see a little bit more. Like I said, I enjoyed it enough that I'm definitely going to keep watching. And there was a lot of small stuff I like, so probably by the end of the series, assuming it all comes together well, I'll probably end up liking it overall, maybe more than the first impression, but not to say that it was bad. I enjoyed it, and it's good to sit down and enjoy Marvel and not be kind of picking things out as being bad or whatever else. So hopefully we're getting back to the previous quality.
Yeah, so I mean, this is it feels good, like after Deadpool and now this, it's like two seemingly pretty high quality and different. Obviously Deadpool.
Right.
Obviously Deadpool's different than the MCU, but now we got Deadpool in the MCU, which was a little bit different than the Fox Deadpool movies. And then Agatha definitely, like I said, it's not hitting like a typical Marvel piece of content. So and in a good way. So we're hopefully the rest of the show pans out and we'll be batting 2 for 2 heading into next year. So that's a wrap on the premiere of Agatha All Along. What else you got going on?
I'll definitely have to do a full series review.
Yeah.
Not really a whole lot. I've been trying to get through as many 2024 horror movies as I can. I'm a little bit behind on some of the bigger release. Obviously, I'm not going to watch every single thing because that would be impossible, and I don't really care to because there's plenty of low budget stuff that I don't really want to watch. But I have actually watched some lower budget stuff recently, and it's been very good. But trying to get through 2024 horror probably before the end of the month, and then go into classics in October.
Yeah, I'm getting my list together, and I definitely want to try to carve out some time to do my annual watching I haven't seen a whole lot of horror so far this year. I do want to see Longlegs. I do want to see the Omen. Is it prequel or sequel?
Yeah,
or,
prequel.
Yeah, I've heard good things about that. I did see A Quiet Place. I thought that was.
Oh yeah, that's on my list. I gotta watch that soon.
I thought that was excellent. It was very good, but it was kind of in some ways, and probably on purpose. It was definitely designed to be a little bit more of like this kind of like character study and like the impact, the human impact of this happening, and so in that sense, it almost kind of was a little one note, but it was definitely good. And other things I want to catch up on. Alien, haven't seen that.
Oh yeah, Alien was really good.
And then just putting together the list for the annual Halloween watch. So we've got work to do, and we've got at a minimum the rest of Agatha All Along coming up for episodes. So as always,
what else is? I can't really think of anything Marvel related, at least.
I don't think we've got anything. I know Daredevil is
I
March.
guess the next movie. Oh yeah, is the next movie in like February?
It is.
That's kind of surprising.
Yeah, it is, and I don't even remember what it is.
It's Captain America 4.
Oh yes, that's right. Captain America.
Which I feel like I haven't seen enough to say one way or the other, although I haven't been super blown away by what we've seen so far.
Yeah,
I think it's probably too early to tell.
Yeah, I would. I know that one has all the stories about being plagued by reshoots and all the other stuff too. But like, I thought the trailer was solid, and again, it like you've said, I think on past episodes, it's got that political thriller sort of trying to call back to Winter Soldier vibes, which if it's a solid, intrigue, espionage, action piece that sort of moves the greater narrative along in however it does, then that's fine with me.
Right, yeah, no, I'm curious to see where that... It seems like there's a lot of elements there, too, with Red Hulk and everything else, so... But yeah, other than that, I can't really think of much else.
Yeah, I think we're still in recovery mode, it seems like quite a bit because I always have my Lockwood & Co. shout-outs at the end of every episode, which I will do again.
Right.
Watch that show, read those books, Lockwood & Co. by Jonathan Stroud, the Netflix show. It's starting to feel like more and more of a long shot that does get renewed or picked up by somebody else, but hopefully it does. It was so good. But I was just wondering, like his other more recent book series, which is also really good, The Outlaw Scarlet and Brown, that was also picked up to be made into an Amazon Prime film or potentially film series with another Bridgerton actor playing the lead. And I just haven't heard anything about it since, I tried looking for some information about it. I'm like, it's got to be a new story about this. It's got to be coming out at some point. And again, it's probably been pushed back because of the labor dispute, but still hoping that comes out at some point. Oh yeah, no, I'd be interested in watching that, and yeah, I'm still hoping for Lockwood & Co. renewal, although I haven't heard too much about that. You're more tuned into that than I am, but hopefully, fingers crossed. But yeah, I think that probably just about does it. I don't have too much more to say. That's a wrap for this episode. As always, thank you guys so much for tuning in wherever you find our podcasts. We hope you will like and subscribe. Leave us any comments that you may have. We appreciate the support, and we will see you at a minimum for the rest of Agatha All Along, and I'm sure for some other upcoming good stuff. Definitely, yep. We will see you on the next one.